a lot of people, because a lot of people are self-taught data scientists, they don't have a formal training into coding or the principles that software engineers follow, right? And so they lose upon the best practices that one needs to follow and the importance and the value of it, right? When it comes to your organization, right? So do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Like why software engineering principles or following best practices is very valued as part of a team or as part of an organization?
This is a challenge that I personally have also seen. People talk about data quality so much, and data quality is just so much a function of people not following the best practices. If you just follow the usual best practices, that you need to see the lineage, you need to see that the distributions are matching, the counts are matching. If all of the people follow through on those best practices, then data quality won't be that bigger of a issue to be discussed. But again, this is a real type of issue. I don't know, like, what is a solution to this? I think a very recent practice, what I came to learn about is a specification that has been launched. It's called Data Developer Platform, DDP specification. And it is much like the software specification that, okay, these are the basic type of things that we definitely need to have, right? Like version control, documentation, and writing proper comments. These are the very basic things that software engineers, all of them agree with. So around that area, I've seen a very good development. It's called Data Developer Platform specification. And I think if people do follow that kind of thing, that would really be good, but it's a challenge. It's a bit like that you can't do much about it all of the time because you have to work on the problem as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, data quality is something I think a lot of people don't think about unless you're like a senior in your team or a lead. People look at the data and they right away they jump on it, trying to do ML and all that stuff because that's exciting, right? Who wants to deal with messy data? Who wants to fix and find the right source of data? Right? It's a boring job. But yeah, that is something that I think it's a very big issue. Like we ran into that recently because data engineers are the ones who deal with that, right? But every single time that they change something, you need to be in a constant communication with them, or at least follow what's really happening in your organization when it comes to data, right? And then what happens is make some changes, but you were not aware of the changes, and you're continuing to use that data, thinking, okay, you know what, the data hasn't changed much, everything is still the same. But at the end of the day, you're providing a wrong solution to the stakeholders, right? And then they are making wrong decisions, right? So that's a big red flag right there, right? And that's
Yeah.
what I faced recently. I faced one of the big issues we had in Decathlon was we have the sales data, but initially we used to have returns in the data, but now we don't have a return. And then there's certain date range after which the returns were not included, or if people return the product, it's sometimes counted as cancel or return. So there's a lot of misinformation, right? That you can only figure out by talking to people like data engineer. So having that cross collaboration with across the teams, I think that is something that people should learn or should be aware of and not just jump right into the problem, right? Um,
Yeah, one more point to add into this conversation is what, from my experience also. So when we do analytics, all the business logic matters much. Say in your case, for
exactly.
example, if it only contains the sales data and not the
Yeah,
return data, it will change whole lot many things with respect to the business logic.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
specifically about the analytics part of the data job, people often face so much challenge just to understand that, okay, this is the business logic. This is how this thing is getting calculated. Or
Mm,
oftentimes you will see that there are some projected numbers, but there is no equation that has been documented about those projections that, okay,
mhm.
this is from where they're coming from. So having that business logic documented as well, that is also something that I will say that people need to start doing more. And around that, I came to learn about a technique. It's called the data contract. I have not met any team who uses the data contract, but I came to
Mhm.
learn it from some Netflix or some larger companies because they also have this kind of challenge. So that's how they started to use a data contract between their different team. That, okay, these are the rules that we are going to follow, all of us.